Yeah, you're reading that right, man. I am tired. We already made 4 videos earlier today on the channel, and you can see them right here. They're pretty good, I'd say. Lots of good updates and content, I feel, and the reception has been nice to see as well. But this is going to be the 5th video of the day. And I will say that part of the reason I'm very, very tired isn't necessarily because of what you might think. You see, after the 4th video of today, the Pierre-Luc Dubois video, I ended up having to go on a pretty long road trip. I had to make the drive all the way out there to Surrey and do some errands, not to mention a few other errands that I had to do in the midst of the day. Tasks that I had to go out and about to complete in between uploading videos. My entire morning was pretty hectic, and whilst uploading 4 videos on the day in between all of my extra things, it was a very, very overwhelming experience. So I actually didn't watch any of this Vancouver Canucks and Boston Bruins game up until like 5 minutes left in the 3rd period. I had the radio on at times, but for the most part I was on the road. I was waiting around for pickups and, you know, going back and forth as one does. So if there was a Canucks game for me to go out there and miss because I was in the midst of doing extra stuff all around town in the Lower Mainland, then this was that game. The Vancouver Canucks lose 4-0 to the Boston Bruins. Man, does that sound familiar. Because with this result and with this game that we had witnessed, I feel like a lot of Canucks fans are starting to bring up their inner demons, the ghosts that haunt them from 13 years ago. The ghost of Tim freaking Thomas seems to be haunting and lurking around this city. He is an overwhelming, overshadowing specter that only few are able to feel, and you're only able to exercise with the ghosts of Roberto Luongo. It's kind of crazy how everything has been going down, because I feel like when it comes to this game, sure, like, I came back home, 5 minutes left in the 3rd, saw the results, okay, 2 shorthanded goals against, 2 regular goals against at the beginning of the 2nd, not great. Canucks lose 4-0, and I'm kind of thinking about it like, hey, we can give the team a pass, right? They're first in the NHL, well, tied now, because Boston ended up winning, but Vancouver, first overall in the NHL, the guys on the team had a bad night. Everybody's flaming Elias Pettersson for the giveaway. Everybody's flaming JT Miller for the back-checking and the effort. Everybody's blaming Quinn Hughes for how he was able to move around in the first period. Everybody's blaming Thatcher Demko for some of the passes and the inability to stop certain pucks. There are so many things going on with this team that are wrong that you can conclude based off of tonight's game. And I'm just going to give everybody the benefit of the doubt to chillax, because they're still first, and I still think that they've built enough goodwill within my spectacles of watching this team over the season to not panic and freak out. Like, sure, this win for Boston will probably push them above Vancouver in a few power rankings if they weren't already above them. That's fine. But it's a long season, right? And one game is one game. It's kind of funny to me how after watching the social media reaction to this game, you're really starting to see just some of the long-term effects of how Canucks hockey has impacted this community. To help us out, we're going over onto a few tweets. Yeah, we never look at tweets and stuff in post-game videos, but this is Wyatt Arndt, the stanchion, going out there and live tweeting the Canucks and Bruins game tonight. Flat out horse crap effort from the Canucks top players. Honestly embarrassing. Huge game, and they take an actual crap on the ice. And yes, this is PTSD from 2011 fueling this tweet. That was the worst period of hockey I've seen from Quinn Hughes this season. Don't get me wrong, EP and JT also looked like hot piping vomit, but usually Quinn is the reliable engine of the team. Cool. Everything is going Boston's way. This is a fun story to watch again. Here's what Buck Foston went out there and said. It seems like the Vancouver Canucks choke every big game. And then a reply goes out there and asks, didn't we beat Carolina, Toronto, the Rangers, and the Devils, or did I do mushrooms with Buble and imagine it all? That's funny. Here's another reply that I actually thought was really interesting that kind of describes how eager and maybe fickle this fan base can be. Nikhil went out there and tweeted this. He does work for Canucks Army, and he also happens to be one of the gosh darn best EA Sports NHL players in the scene. LOL, the overreaction is absolutely insane for a team that hasn't lost in regulation in 12 games. Here's another perspective from Grady. All right, here's the perspective for those freaking out. Every team in the NHL lays a stinker or two over 82 games, sometimes more. Let's not forget about all the other games where they've beaten quality opponents. 2 regulation losses in their last 24 games. Recency bias is a hell of a drug. And I think to put a bow on top, let's go over to 2 other individuals who happen to be some of the best EA Sports NHL players here in the Lower Mainland. Bassi went out there and tweeted this. It seems like this fan base panics after every loss. And then Sap went out there and replied saying, yeah, sports trauma is real. And that's kind of the thing, right? Canucks fans are traumatized from years and years of L's and years of not living down 2011 and being haunted by the ghosts of Tim Thomas and Roberto Luongo pumping the tires and everything. So now, in 2024, when you have an opportunity to bring up yet another Boston-Vancouver topic, you're talking about Thatcher Demko, you're talking about Jeremy Swayman, who made videos about those earlier today. Go ahead and check them out. This is an opportunity for Canucks fans internally to vindicate and in a way exercise those emotions of shame and frustration in the past. Shame that your hockey team lost multiple shutout games in the Stanley Cup Finals in 2011. Shame that you couldn't get it done on home ice in Game 7. Shame that they completely blew it. And this game here, within the first few minutes, within the first few shorthanded goals, and then within the first few minutes of the second where it became 4-0, you started to see some of that shame pop itself back into the spotlight. Because Boston, like it or not, they're a good team this year. They've been a pretty good team, one of the best, top of the NHL right now as we speak, tied with Vancouver, or something like that. So, all in all, this is certainly a matchup of 2 Titans where obviously, the result you got on paper, if you're a Canucks fan, if you're an NHL fan, this was not the result you wanted. You didn't want to see one team absolutely lay a goose egg and a stinker against the other. You didn't want to see 2 shorthanded goals. You didn't want to see Vancouver not show up to play. But I don't know, dude. This is a different team from before. This ain't the same Travis Green, Willie Desjardins, Bruce Boudreau team that's gonna, use this loss and fuel other losses from it. They seem better than that. And their holistic record is still pretty good. All the regulation losses in the past few games, there's only been 2. And they happen to be 7-1-2 in their last 10. They haven't had a regulation loss in a while, so, at the very least, they didn't lose a tight one. At the very least, it wasn't 1-1 heading into the third period, only for a shorthanded goal to happen then. This was done from the get-go. You knew after 30 minutes of gameplay that the Canucks were going to lose, and then you had the rest of the night to chill out and feel that. Say, all right, they're going to lose, that's fine. All right, it's a regulation loss, that's maybe not fine, but we can deal with it, and it's not going to be a super overreactionary emotional outburst when they lose in overtime or whatever. They lost fair and square. And I didn't watch the game. I am very, very tired, and I still have to go to the gym later today, so I'll leave you with that. I had fun making the thumbnail for this video. I liked cutting out old images of Tim Thomas because that man was literally the boogeyman of my pre-teenage years. Yeah, you talk about sports trauma, that guy. Sports traumatic right there. So, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Vancouver Canucks losing 4-0 to the Boston Bruins and how devastating a loss like that may feel. At the end of the day, hockey isn't life. People say hockey is life, so I could understand if hockey is the only thing you care about, this is why you'd be upset about this, but hey, hockey's not life. Get out there, go on a walk. If you can't walk, then, I don't know, turn on a movie or something. Find other ways to entertain your mind till the end of the night because, hey, that was an early game, 4 p.m. PST start, right? We have other things to go out there and focus our attention on other than the hockey team that seems to have taken over a lot of our lives. So, one game is one game. We'll see what happens when they play off against who are they playing next? Detroit? And then Washington? And then Chicago? Something like that? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Canucks. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.